The sailors on the Starless Sea. Ages passed. Innumerable chaos cults flourished on the edge of civilization. For every holy spire rising to extol the virtues of the forces of law, there was a reflection, offering mankind material power and wealth in exchange for cruel acts and bloody sacrifice. Humanity was a young and foolish race, and many prince and peon sold his soul in exchange for power over his foeman. But as civilization endured, uniting tribes into clans and clans into kingdoms, slowly the law of light beat back the chaos into the darkness. But not to be outdone, the powers of chaos and evil sought champions of profound wickedness and cruelty. Mortals possessed of the strength of will to lead the hordes of chaos against their enemies. These were known as the Chaos Lords. The brothers Molon and Phalon were two such champions, vicious and cunning beyond measure without a scrap of mercy. They led hordes of bestial humans to victory against the armies of goodness. With the spoils of their bloody campaigns, they rose a mighty keep and rained terror and violence upon their domain. But in the end, the brothers' success and violence was also their undoing. Disparate forces of men, dwarves, and elves rallied together in a crusade against the wicked Chaos Lords, and for 39 days the allies laid siege to the keep. On the 40th day, the captain of the elves dealt Phalon a mortal blow. Realizing his own end was near, Molon retreated into an ancient cave beneath the keep. As the forces of good laid waste to his fortress, he commended his damaged soul into the writhing limbs of the gods of chaos. He made only one request. When ages had passed and the armies of good fell into disarray once more, he asked to return and lay waste to his ancient enemies. And that time has now come. They come at night to your village. From the darkness of the wilderness that surrounds you, coming from the old keep, burning buildings, rending people apart, dragging them screaming and still alive into the darkness. And then a month, and they come again. And then 2 weeks, and they come again. And this happens more increasingly. They drag more and more people into the forest, into the dark. Still screaming, still alive. Until the time comes when your village, calling for aid from anyone they can, many having already fled, their pleas going unanswered, you realize that you have only one option left. You're no warrior. You grab your pitchforks and your kitchen knives and chickens and carts, and with whatever thing you can make war, you, the rabble of peasants of your village, advance on the keep to face whatever it is that would destroy everything that you know. And that is where we begin. You stand before a ruined keep, squatting atop a low, craggy hill, its walls toppled stone and massive granite blocks hinting at forgotten battles and the clash of mighty armies. Now the ruins seem host only to creeping vines, at least for the night after this last raid. The foul miasma of mists and fog drifting down from the sides of the keep. The air is overrun with a kind of thick pestilence, Fat flies bite at you incessantly as you approach in the woods, and clouds of small black insects choke at every breath. The long abandoned land about the keep is choked with thorny vines that drape the sickly trees and hang from ruined walls, and there is an odor of rot and decay, as if the hill itself is decomposing. One sight gives you a pause as you approach the keep. A ragged banner depicting a crimson skull on a black field stands high atop the ruined walls. Whatever lurks within has terrorized you in your village for too long. You turn to your companions and ready your meager weapons. The time of retribution has come. So, you have the forests that surround the keep, and the main courtyard entrance that, although overgrown, leads up into its front portcullis and the main gates of it. What do you do? Untrained, unprepared rabble of nearly driven insane peasants that are here just to try to save their village and stop this.
Yeah. Derek, my character would be, his name is Derek, and he's a halfling, and he's a glove maker. And so, like, he's gonna say, well, maybe there is a chance that we should be, maybe just leave it alone. Let's go back to the village. I don't like how it looks.
Bernardo the smuggler will pat him on the shoulder and say, what of the vines there on the keep walls? I've never been one to necessarily go through a gate if I can go over a fence. So he'll eye the vines, and maybe, I don't know how close we are, but he'd like to inspect whether they can actually support maybe the weight of a light halfling, perhaps, or even a full-grown human.
Well, if something, I have a rope with myself. That means grappling hook. We can attach a rope and just throw it. But I still think we should go back.
You Ted, your smuggler approaches one of the vines to inspect it. I have to make it so I can see. Oh, but it's dark out here. Is anyone using a torch?
Well, I don't need a torch. I have an infravision.
Anyone else? Any humans?
None of my guys thought to bring a torch.
No.
No one has a torch.
The potato farmer, Alphonse, is checking the mule, but unfortunately the mule does not have a torch.
All right.
I have a bundle of wood if anyone has a light,
Ooh.
All right.
I like that as a starting.
Oh no, I do. I have a lantern. Sorry.
You have a lantern. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. I need to make it to where I can see the tokens. So let me fix this real quick. I'm just gonna have to add a token.
16 characters surrounding lantern.
I'm gonna give myself a new TED token. Sorry, give me a second. I'm having a...
No worries.
That's all right.
User configuration, select character. I guess I'll just make a new one. And he'll just follow you all around because I can't see. When I activated that lantern, can anybody else see?
I can see just my actual character.
Just
Yeah, I can see my squad.
Okay, I'll fix it.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Oh, there we go. Now I can actually see a radius.
That's
Oh,
weird.
nice.
Yep, that can see it all.
I'll just use this one.
We have 2 tokens of Tad.
Party token and okay. And also give them light vision. Okay, this should update for me.
Ooh.
Can't bloody see. Let's see here. Light, vision. Always for everyone. Mythic. Update. I am going to do something else real quick to try to fix this. Sorry, the VTT is giving me problems.
No worries.
Yeah, let me try something else.
Ted, how did you change your names on yours? I see how you have all your peasants listed. How did you do that?
I go to it's the 3rd icon. It's called the actors directory.
Okay.
And then what you do is you just open up yours, and then the top line you can just change.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that everybody else can see about, see a little ways out in front of them.
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me know if you all have any problems. So, Ted, you go up and you inspect these vines.
I do.
And when you do that, something happens.
Oh no.
Let's see.
Have I done something foolhardy?
All of a sudden, when you reach and touch for look at, like, can the vine hold my weight? The vine like shifts and laterally like a snake, like starts to move, and you start to hear groaning, as there are bodies that are stuck in the vines. And these vines have wormed their way out through into portions of the body, through a neck and out of an eyeball, and holding part of an arm and stuff. And they start to snake through the bodies, and you realize that the bodies start to move. And they start to shimmer and move as the vines around you start to move towards you to entangle you.
Do we?
Oh my god! Oh my god! I told you we shouldn't come here. That's horrible thing.
And everybody can roll for initiative.
Do we recognize them? I mean, anything that would maybe inhibit us from outright destroying them?
As you take a look in the lantern light that's provided by Ian's peasants, one of the Ian's peasants, you recognize these two people. This is Curie and Albin, and they're the sons of the village blacksmith. Are any of you a blacksmith? Nope.
No, but my soldier might know them. Probably did some work with them for his equipment.
Yeah.
And Charles, the tax collector, will throw his hands up and say, "Wait, don't kill them. They still owe me money."
They're all, my woodcutter is like, they're already as good as dead.
Oh, he's they're all kind of grabbing pitchforks and so forth, readying themselves to defend themselves.
Gorky, what did you get for initiative?
8.
An 8. Okay.
So with initiative, do we roll for each of our peasants?
No, just take the highest. Just take the highest initiative. Yeah, that's a great question.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
So- One
Go
of mine looks like I think has a bonus to initiative.
Yeah,
if I'm
take
reading
that
it
one.
correctly. Okay.
All right, and then Ian, what did you get?
19.
Ian got a 19, and then what'd you get, Ted?
I'm apologizing. I'm looking for the dice button. Which is it? It's the
It's not like Roll20 where it has a dice bar, so you you have to go into chat
It's just-
or
it's backspace 20 or backspace D20.
/ roll space 1d20, or you can bring up your character sheet and just click one of the attributes, and it'll roll a d20 for you. So that's another option. What'd you get, Ken?
Well, I rolled a 17, but my +1 initial 18.
Okay.
I got the massive 4.
And got a 17, and Ted, you got a 4, and then yeah. So Glenn, as you're approaching the keep in the forest, Ted's character says, "Hey, maybe we can use these big vines," and he goes to investigate if the vine would be maybe hardy enough to hold you, and all of a sudden the vine moves like a giant python, and these two bodies that have vines coming out of their eye and ear holes and mouth, they start to shudder and move, and the vines reach to grab you all. What did you get on your initiative?
I got a 16.
Glenn got a 16. Okay. And let's see. I need. Fortunately, they go far, far last, so that's good news. And so the first people able to act are Ian's peasants.
Oh, you're just doing all 4 of them in one go, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can roll for them separately, but yeah.
Yeah. So, what's his name? Odin is the squire is going to shout, "Quick, hack them to pieces," and send the other 3 running forward to attack. So the first guy runs up with his pitchfork, tries to stab them, catch them in the ground. So that'll be 4. Well, if 18 hits, it'll be 4 damage.
18 does hit.
Yeah, Nilid, the con artist, is going to try and stab him with his dagger. Will that hit?
That does.
Okay.
For one of them.
1 whole damage.
All right.
And Odran, the mendicant, runs up with his club and just tries to bludgeon it into a pulp. I'm guessing that's not going to hit.
That misses.
Yeah, and then Odin, leading from the rear, will swing, try and hack off a limb with his rusty old sword. That'll hit, I think. Yeah. For 3 damage.
Right. Let's see. Describe how you kill one of them.
So the farmer Moirek, hacking with his pitchfork, pins a whole bunch of them to the ground, and then Udan runs up with the sword and just hacks them to pieces as they writhe, but are unable to get out of the way until there's just a messy pulp of fiber on the floor.
The vines, as you chop them off, they slither into the dark, separated from the root of their vine, like snakes that are scared, and they suck themselves out of the eye holes and mouths and chest of the people and slither off into the dark, and then the bodies just slump dead and lifeless. I'm sorry, one of them does. And that brings us to Ken.
Oh. Sorry, so we control four peasants straight away, but
Yeah.
we're gonna change when one of them dies. Oh, okay.
Ken, what do your peasants do?
All right. Well, I'm gonna have my woodcutter Angus. He's gonna run up with his hand axe, start hacking away. Go ahead and roll for him. And we just start off with a d20 for rolling.
Yeah, I'm having the peasants act on a d20 action die. Unless you're like really bad at something, if you try to pick up something sophisticated, I'll go down the dice chain.
Fair enough. Angus, I don't think he got a 3 with his hand when he's trying to hack
Misses.
with his hand axe. And then my shaman, Noro, she's gonna run up with her mace and start bashing with the mace. That one also is a 3.
A 3. Okay. Yeah, that misses as well.
My guild beggar hubcap, he's gonna try to balance on his crutches while he uses his sling.
Okay. Crutches.
He's a 2.
Oh, these poor peasants, they just start like trying to swat at these giant monstrous vines that are probably this thick. It'd be like chopping a small tree down, and they're just hitting these vines and nothing's happening.
Yep, and then my soldier, Latro, he's gonna poke at it with his spear. I'm hoping he'll at least be confident. Oh, no
no.
confidence is found.
So your fumble die, I have the table if you don't. So you roll your fumble die, and I'll let you know. Or if you have the table, you can do it either way.
Do not.
That's okay.
What?
So you, on the right side of your peasant's character sheet, you should have a thing that says fumble die. I can look. Let's see. It's listed.
D4.
I don't see a fumble die.
Oh yeah, without armor, yeah, it'd be D4. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so
And then as you get heavier armor, the dice chain goes up on your fumble die.
If you
4.
have,
All right, you got it.
if you have the PDF, it's on page 80 for fumbles, just in case anyone's interested.
It says. So what weapon were they using?
a spear.
Okay. So you try to jam this spear into the vine, and the vine wraps around the spear and snaps it in half, and you're left with just like a wooden haft, like a stick.
He looks at his broken spear with tears welling up. It was a family heirloom.
Oh no. This is what I'm looking for, by the way. Make me feel bad. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Any other peasants? Is that 4 of them?
That was by 4.
All right, Glenn. Let's see if yours could do any better.
Well, my halfling dagger, Jeff, is gonna run up with his club or staff and just try and help them take out his spine if he hit. A 20.
You got a nat 20.
And then, yeah,
All
a
right.
nat 20.
That means that you have a crit, which is can't remember. I'm assuming that's also a D4 at 0 level. You guys remember? You get a crit, the crit die. Crit die for 0 levels. I have the chart, but I can't remember the crit
I
die.
think crits were always the same die. I didn't realize it changed sizes.
I can't remember. I thought there was a crit die. Let's see here, crit table.
I could just roll 2d4.
It's on page 82. It says all 0 level characters and wizards. So I think each class gets a different crit table.
What's the crit table?
It says all 0 level characters roll a D4 on crit table 1. So all right. So Glenn, you'd roll a D4 for that character.
Oh, no, you're right. It's one. All 0 levels roll 1d4 on crit table 1.
Okay, so it'd be 2d4s, right? Because this staff, which I was gonna say is a +1, for some reason.
Yeah, you can also roll for
there's a
damage,
one.
but first, before you roll for damage, roll for the crit result because it might change it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
roll a d4 first, and this will tell us what happens with the crit.
It is a 2.
A 2. Yeah, so you can in fact roll 2d4.
Oh, nice.
It automatically hits,
Alright.
and you do
Good numbers.
2d4.
That's a 3 and a 2, so 5 damage.
5. Okay, and you what are you using as your weapon?
Just beating it away with the staff.
A staff. You take the staff and you're trying to
Yeah.
beat this vine horror, this person that's writhing and shaking and moaning with vines coming out of him, and you slam it straight through the person's skull and out the back of their eye, and then the vines like shudder and you actually hear a squealing noise like from the vines as some of them slither out of the head and the head lolls over like a doll. And you do 5 damage.
On. And Steph, my 2 gambler twins, kind of come up and assist. They're both carrying clubs, so in case. That is a 16
16
And-
hits.
and a 15.
And 15 hits.
Oh, okay. D4s. Okay, so one does 1 damage, and the other one does 1 damage.
All right. Any more peasants?
Yes, we have Beth, the onion-hating herder. He's gonna run up with his staff. Oh, and he also has a herding dog.
Nice.
I think the dog is cowering at this point. Oh wait, what's he doing? He's gonna run up and try and take a swing at this with his staff. He gets a 14.
14 hits.
Okay, and he does 4 damage.
Nice. Describe how your onion hater kills this vine horror.
I think he just runs up screaming, "This is one massive onion," and he just comes up and starts whacking it in the chest with staff, trying to poke holes through it. Until
Alright.
at one point, just slumps over.
It eventually falls over, and the vines retreat from the body of this poor soul and leave it lifeless on the ground. And
The smuggler will kind of pat his hands like this and say, well done indeed," as if he's taking credit for everybody else's work.
Yeah.
All right. So you have when Ian's peasant lights the lantern, you can see the overgrown vine-filled path. The vines don't seem to be shifting around like snakes as far as you can tell. They are probably about 30 or 40 feet either side of this overgrown, thorny and grass-covered path leading up to the main portcullis and gate to the keep. You also have the forest surrounding either side of the keep. And as you look, Ted, your smuggler identifies that there are giant fat vines that crawl their way up parts of the keep wall if you choose to try to use them.
He'll point it out to everybody in almost like a faux professorial way, like, you can see how that will support the weight, blah blah blah. And his other peasants their eyes are rolling like, oh god, Bernardo's at it again, But even though he's sort of like pointing everything out, he'll test it and begin to ascend the vines, looking to. I'm assuming there's like a ledge or maybe a window or even battlements or something like that. He's going to eye it first, so he has like a goal where he's going, and then he's going to start to climb up the vines.
Okay. Do you do it on the nearest vines that you can see? So you have the front part of the keep, and you can see on the tower side there are a series of vines Do you go over there and climb to the top where the wall is, or do you try to find another area on the other side of the keep? You just go up to the nearest vines that you see?
No, his thinking is this, and he'll explain it to everybody, is, now that we've we, or I, have driven off those harmful vines, I feel like this is the right spot to go. So he'll, as opposed to, looking more, he might be a little foolhardy, but he's just going to go to the closest ones. And you said, the dead bodies or whatever kind of, withdrew, and it's that area that he's going to want to try to climb up.
All right. Let's see here. You are able to do that. What does everyone else do?
So the vines that were cut, are there any of the ones that are cut that are still there, or did they all slither off?
They've all slithered off.
Ah, dang it.
Oh, and Ted, are you human? Do you have infravision?
No, sadly, I do not have infravision, so I'm assuming after 20 or 30 feet, whatever the dim light is from whomever's holding the lantern, I know it's Ian's characters, I guess he's starting to use, more touch as opposed to sight.
All right.
By the way, sorry, I didn't know that. I didn't know that we have to use 4 characters. So one of my character has candle, by the way.
As what?
So candle.
Oh, a candle. Yeah. Yeah. With a candle, you're able to illuminate about 5 feet, directly around you. But with Ted's character, I think I'm sorry. Did you say you climbed up the vine?
Yes.
So
Okay.
as soon as he starts climbing, Aiden will actually move forward with a lantern to give him some light.
Okay. With the light, make a. I'll move Ian's character. What is everybody else doing before I do that?
Well, go ahead.
By the way, so one of my peasants probably would be Varley. He's a halfling haberdasher. He will be looking for some kind of weapons or something like that on those 2 guys that were killed. As I understand, they're lying there. Yeah, so maybe he can find something interesting on them. He's just gonna take it.
You find a short sword that's still intact, and a dagger. They are heirloom gifts given by Curie and Albin's father. And Albin also has 5 copper pieces in his right boot.
Well, nobody looked for it, and he's just gonna quietly, if nobody's looking, just take. Oh, look! I found a dagger. Maybe somebody wants to use it.
Who put this dagger here? That's a
yeah.
dagger.
My soldier, who is now spearless, raises his hand. I'd like it.
Oh, here you are. Here you are. Take it.
He'll take the dagger. Thank you.
All right. So everybody else is searching the body. Ted and Ian, you go ahead. Is everybody else staying back on the path, or do you go up to the wall where the vines are with Ted and Ian's peasants?
I think my peasants probably halfling. And there are 2 halflings that are gonna be. Maybe we should just watch it. Maybe that there are more dangerous wines there, and let's see if they can manage to climb the wall, and then maybe we should go up. Just wait. And everybody else, the human, the butcher, and the ditch digger, they're gonna agree. Yeah. Let's wait for that.
Okay, you have to, Ian and Ted's peasants, you have to clamber down an old dry moat and then start to claw your way up to the top of it. And then the smuggler, who's very used to this, uses the vine and starts crawling his way up. With the light, you can make a reflex save with a D24. And Ken, you can take a point of luck for Hubcap. I mean,
my
not for
beggar?
him specifically, but just because that was and being on crutches and all that stuff.
Oh, awesome. Actually, I was thinking, yeah, my characters, I'm gonna have like my shaman looking at the vines to see if any of them are medicinal. The other two are tying a rope around Hubcap because they're gonna have to haul him up.
What did you get, Ted?
Can you tell me again? It's /D.
/roll
Yeah.
space
Thank you.
1d24.
Just R works as well.
Oh, nice.
Here we are. 14, and it's a +0, so 14 just straight.
Okay. You find as you clamber over this, suddenly you have the smell of dead animals, and the smell of like cheese and rotting things, and all of a sudden there are these like big hairy palms and groaning like bestial noises that all of a sudden the stuff reaches over the side of the keep to start trying to pull you up.
It's helping me basically. So I'll say thank you and wrap arms and legs around whatever it is that's hauling me up.
All of a sudden you find yourself surrounded by these like 6.5 about foot tall various creatures, and I will describe what they look like because I need a dice for that. There are several of them. 3, 4, 12. Okay. One looks like you can see a long coat of feathers off this person, and then strips of belt and leather with an owl's head. And another one has lips that curve back in on itself and reveal these curved fangs that come out of its mouth. But its eyes are like side slit, like cat's eyes. And then another one has a bright, shiny thing that you see glinting off the surface like a crystal, and then you realize that it's like the multiple eyes of like a giant fly. And in the dark, there are these antennae coming off of it, and they start dragging you away. And you can attempt a reflex save. This one will be harder, and with a d20.
Okay. 16.
That does not pass, and you hear the smuggler being dragged off into the darkness by something up on top of this wall.
As he's being dragged off, he's trying to engage them in conversation. Like, hey, you guys, what's going on? What can I help you with? You know, he's pitching his used car salesman kind of thing.
The charm doesn't have an off button.
You hear
he's 360 charm all the way.
You hear you hear like a screeching, skittering sound from the large fly man, and then only the owl man is able to like turn his one eye as like a side eye, like bird eye toward you. This big bird eye comes close to you and is like, "You'll change too, soon. You'll change."
And Bernardo will say, "I can't wait. Tell me more about the change. I'm actually really into change, and you know, kind of give me a little more flavor."
Ow, my back. The pain's worth it. What are the rest of your peasants doing when you see this?
The other,
yeah,
the tax collector's like, there goes more revenue. Delilah, the milky-eyed astrologer, is she's actually just staring up at the skies, looking for some portend. And Alphonse the First, potato farmer, is going to pick up bits of. I assume there's some maybe rough battlements, like bits of chunks of rock, or like I assume it's kind of in poor repair, basically. And if it is the case, he's going to pick up a couple and start pelting the backs, not necessarily to kill the creatures, but more just to like get their attention. He's going to start throwing rocks or stones or whatever at the backs of these mongrel, kind of these like half men, half beast creatures.
Okay, that totally gets two of their attentions, and the fly man keeps dragging off the smuggler. The other two come back. And then one of them runs over to another part of the keep inside of a tower, and you hear this. As you guys are checking the body back on the main path, you can you hear this thing go off. There we go. As this horn blasts through the night air, and the ground reverberates, and suddenly you start to hear big, heavy footsteps clambering off in the dark.
Charles, the tax collector, will be like, he'll crane his, kind of put his head over the battlement and say, "What have you guys done down there?"
And meanwhile, I'll pan back to you all that are looking at these bodies and stuff. Gorky, what are your peasants doing?
Okay, so like he climbed all over the wall, like there was no problem, yeah. We don't know what's going on there, just like, but he did it, yeah. He succeeded.
Well, it's a bit far away. They had to walk up to the keep wall. It's probably 40 feet, 50 feet off into the dark, and then over on the other side of a moat. But you did see him climbing up some vine, and then all of a sudden, you don't see him anymore. You just see like shapes and long shadows in the lantern light near the keep wall that are approaching that portion of wall.
Like so, like well, maybe we should get like one of the halflings gonna say that Varley, we should go up. It seems like he managed to do it, And Derek, the other halfling, yes, let's go. And Brock, the human butcher, yeah, we should go up. Let's climb the wall, And they start climbing the wall.
Oh, you guys are going to climb as well. Okay.
Yeah, why not? I mean...
Yeah. Trying to find how I could give you vision. Vision. Nope. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out later. Interesting. I've done this before. I have no idea why I can't figure this out right now. But I'll just describe it. But anyways, yeah, your peasants, they go up to the wall, and you see all of Ian and Ted's peasants there as well. And one of them has like tried to climb up enough and is throwing stones at something, and you can see these big figures coming up on top of the wall. What about Glenn and Ken's peasants, who are, I think, now in the dark? Also, unless they followed the light.
We would have gone up. My peasants would have actually gone up to the wall. Like I said, my shaman gave up her search finding any of the medicinal vines, and I think she started to climb up, and then my soldier and my woodcutter would have followed, and then once they're up, they would have started hauling up hubcap.
So it sounds like we're climbing the wall. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't the front gate open this entire time?
But it's not fun just going through the front gate.
And remember, the vow of the smuggler is always to climb a wall when possible.
True. Alright, I guess we're all going up the wall.
Okay, and then there are these huge bestial creatures that have gathered up here. Let me see. There are 7 of them. This might be it right here.
could have just went through the front door.
All right, you all make your way up onto the top of the keep, and there are these different creatures. And in the lantern light, I'll give you a sense of just like some of them, but not all of them. One of them looks like it has the head of a rhino, but with like old leathery skin that's full of rings and scars. And another one has these like curling ram's horns with like big bulbous eyes that look like cancerous pustules that have just popped out of its head. And another one has you can see like half of like a somewhat human face that's been stretched into a clammy, I don't know what those things are called, but like a mussel or a clam, but with some eyes. And then the rest of the face has tentacles. And he's got tentacles for arms. And these things start to try to surround you all and grab you. And you can roll for initiative again. And your smuggler, you can take 1 point of luck for your peasants, Ted, because I think that's hilarious.
Do I use it?
So I have one character with initiative 1, so it's +1, yeah?
Yeah, so you roll a d20 and add a 1 to it. What were you saying, Ted?
With the luck, what is that? I'm sorry, the function of that is what I added.
So, just a bit of a house rule, but I'm going to say that your max luck attribute for this game is 18. But you can pick a peasant and you can put that into your luck score up to 18. And then you can spend luck to try to pass. You can burn luck to pass a saving throw. But then what I do is, as your luck starts to go down, I may ask for a luck check in a really tense situation as your luck goes down. If you're not a halfling,
I kind of bank it for now, basically, and then maybe use it when it
life-saving type of situation, yeah.
Or humor-inducing. I mean, it depends.
Halflings, I think, might be able to luck rubs off on other people. We won't go into all that right now. And they can also generate more luck. I might be getting a couple games mixed up. We're not going to go into all of it. Anyways, what'd you get, Ken?
I rolled a nat 20, so +1, so 21.
All right. Ken got a 21.
We're rolling high.
What'd you get, Ian?
20.
Ian got a 20. And what did I get? A 16.
So we better roll high.
I rolled a 7.
Ted, you got a 7. Gorky, what'd
Ignore
you get?
that luck check. That was just me clicking a button.
Yeah, I rolled 19.
19. All right.
Yeah.
Nice. And then what did you get, Glenn?
16.
Glenn got a 16. Okay. All right, so Ken, your peasants are able to act first.
So these guys were up there immediately when we climbed up, right?
No, it was in the process of, like, they were up there and they're, like the smuggler went up and he looked around, then something tried to grab him, and then, like, the tax collector started throwing rocks, and then after that happened, one of them ran into a tower. And this is while you all were coming up, because you said you were searching a body while they went up to there, but while...
I was asking, by the time my peasants climbed up there, they would be there waiting.
By the time, as you're climbing up over top of this, all of a sudden there's this rank of people that, and this should probably be switched, actually. You all should probably be on the outside. Doesn't matter, though.
So, because like I said, we're going to have to haul up Hubgap. He's actually still down there, so I just have my 3 peasants up here.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to go ahead and have...
I'll actually switch you all.
I'm going to go ahead and have them, I guess, fight. So my woodcutter and my soldier, Angus and Latro, they're going to try to charge one, and same one that's going to try to double team them. So I'll roll for Angus first. That is going to be a 14 to hit.
A 14 hits.
Okay, cool. And he does 1d6 of his hand axe. All right, so he chops at him with his hand axe.
Okay. And then also, we don't actually need this. Oh. This will actually make it to where there's not as much stuff up on the screen.
Excuse me.
And
Ooh, I like.
I have a question because my soldier is now using a dagger. And it's not this trained weapon. Do I get a penalty on that?
No, I don't think so. Not on a dagger. I'm not going to say that you're going to have to go down the dice chain for a dagger. I'm going to say that that doesn't take. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So it hit. What did you say that you got as far as damage?
Oh, Angus rolled a 3 for his hand axe.
Describe how you kill one of the beastmen with a hand axe.
He just runs up and like swings his axe right into his shoulder as if he's like chopping wood, you know, and just blood spraying on his face.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. All right. What about your other attacks?
Well, my soldier Latro, he got a 17 when he attempts to stab one.
All right.
And dagger's 1d4, right?
Yeah.
He stabs one of his dagger.
All right. And how do you kill that one?
He runs up, bashes him with his shield, and when he's when the Beastman is surprised, he like basically just basically stabs one right in his stomach.
Okay. Yeah. I think you stabbed like the half clam, half squid man. And
he's half clam. Wow.
Yeah, and like you hear just this gurgling, slurping, squealing noise as you crack into the chest, and instead of blood, it like opens up into flapping membranes as portions of human organs and muscle organs start to just like spurt white ichor, and then he just falls over dead. What else you got?
I have my shaman who's gonna charge her for mace.
Oh,
18.
All right.
Actually, that'd be a 17 because she's a -1. I just bonk one on the head with my mace for 1.
It cracks one of the creatures on the head, and you can actually hear the skull crunch. But the creature seems unfazed, as if it doesn't entirely need its skull. Anything else?
Like I said, Hubcap's gonna twiddle his fingers, like wondering why he's left up on his own, and that's it.
Hubcap's the real hero of the story.
It really is.
He's the one that's gonna survive. All right. What about your peasants, Ian?
Moirak, the wheat farmer, gonna ready spear and just charge forward at the nearest one. That's not gonna hit.
Oof.
And he's gonna be quickly followed by Udran the mendicant.
Yes.
That'll hit.
Hits.
That's a d4. So he just runs up and sort of clubs one of them.
I'll say it's the one that he had clubbed in the skull. You clubbed the other side of the skull, and then it caves in to where there's really just kind of a mess left, and then it stands for a while as if, do I need my head? And it turns out it does, and it falls over dead.
Okay. Then Lily, the con artist, is going to run up with his dagger, and I'm guessing that's a miss.
Yeah.
Followed up by Udran the squire with his sword out swinging, and proves to be almost as competent as the con artist.
One of the beasts actually manages to do a real parry in the air of that sword, and sparks fly through the air and the old iron meeting the steel. All right, and then let's see, Gorky.
Yeah. Well, I guess like I'm gonna pair up some couple of guys, like still Yeah, right. So, Varek, ditch digger, and I guess, yeah, it's gonna be two humans and two halflings. You know, they're gonna like. So, Varek and ditch digger and Brock, the human badger, is gonna attack one guy.
All right.
So, and Brock, it's you're horrible creatures. You have to die. Uh, and Vark as well. Yes, die. And I think Vark is gonna be using that sword that we found.
Vark's into
Okay,
it.
so-
He's found his.
Yep.
This is actually his. What he's been waiting for in life.
Yeah. Okay. So let's roll for the butcher then, and yeah. And wait, sorry, the butcher using a cleaver as an axe. 1d6. Okay.
Just a sec, I think my kid's up.
All right.
Oh.
Nat 20.
Oh.
All
Yep.
right. Roll a d4.
That's 4.
Nice. Okay. You can roll 2d4 damage.
Shit.
Oh no. Well, it's an interesting thing. So actually, I kind of need my weird chart to figure this out. So one of them has another one is like a bird person, and so while the top part is this like mutated human head, the rest is like a lot of it's feathers with some like an arm that's all like, mangled and not entirely useful. But then the bottom legs come out like a chicken's legs. And what weapon are you using?
Hey, buddy.
It's cleaver. It's a cleaver.
A cleaver. You come at the chicken legs and chop the chicken leg off and snap it backwards, and now there's this like half bird person like hobbling around on one chicken leg, giant chicken leg.
Oh. And butcher gonna. Wow, it's like at my work. There's no difference.
He's chopped many chicken legs.
Oh man, chicken.
There's been a suspicion in the village for some time that that's what's been in the soup. It's just the legs.
Yeah. So now ditch
Or the
digger.
feet, the chicken feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Anyways.
So let's see how he's gonna do. He's gonna attack the same birdman. Yeah.
Okay.
What the?
All right, roll a d4. You know what? We'll say you attack a different one.
Okay.
'Cause that way you get the best out of it.
That's 1.
A 1. Okay. You can also roll an additional 1d3.
So attack and 1d3. Yeah. Or. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, roll your damage die, and then
Yeah.
also another 1d3 on top of it.
Okay, so 1d6. Huh. That's a 2.
2.
And that's a 4. 4 in total.
2. Okay, what is the weapon that this one's using?
Sword, short sword.
A short sword. What's their profession or background?
Well, he's a ditch digger.
The ditch digger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he got a hold of the short sword. This is his moment of destiny. Here is a ditch digger, and he picked up a sword, and he comes up to the one that just has one leg left, and chops it off, and then comes up and then slices through the rest of the bird person, and the bird person, just blood flies through the air, and then he comes around and he's like uncontrollably. He almost hits one of his friends, but instead he slices through the throat of another creature that has like a bunch of teeth and fangs coming out of its face and arms. Like it just looks like a cancerous tumor full of just teeth and fangs coming out of it. And you slice its throat, and blood flies out of its throat, and it falls over gurgling as well. It turns out it did need its air pipe.
Okay, so and then that means like ditch digger is gonna show. Whoa, yes, it's much more fun than digging ditches.
All right. Any more peasants?
Yeah. Okay. So now the halflings are gonna attack another guy. So here's the halfling glove maker. So he's gonna attack with the owl. It has 1d4 plus 1, and it gives him plus 1 as well. So it's probably plus 1 to attack. Yeah. So.
With what's the weapon?
I don't know how it's all or how it's called. I don't know. First time that that I hear that. I never.
Well, how do you spell the word?
AWL.
AWL. All.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
Think about a Swiss Army knife, and it's like basically it's like a punch, something you'd use to like on a leather.
Yeah, it's
like
just a leather punch. It's for making holes in things.
Punching holes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's probably like it's like a poor man's stiletto, essentially.
I know what you mean, but like, so he's like a leather punch, and he's just using it to stab things. These people are feral. That's great. Okay, go for it.
Yeah. And he's like he's a little bit afraid, but like he musters all his courage and just goes some kind of monstrosity. So it has plus 1 to
Okay.
I think bonus. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. So D20 plus 1. Oh,
Hits.
it's 17. Okay, let me roll the damage. It's 1d4 plus 1. It's 4.
A 4. Describe your kill.
Well, he's probably just like he wanted to hit. He's a small one, yeah. So he wanted to hit him in leg probably or something like that. He accidentally just hit him in the balls. Sorry. And it's just if he has one that is like.
It turns out that there's a vital organ there, and he screams and falls over dead. Yeah. Any other peasants?
Yeah. So that was Derek, and he's gonna.
Wait.
He's just...
Hold on. I forgot to mention. So a couple of things. While you are doing this, you suddenly notice that coming from the tower that forms the cornerstone of the two walls of this old keep, that tower where these beastmen have come from, you hear moans and cries, as you are sure that your fellow countrymen that have been dragged off, some of them must be here. Let me see here.
So
Dark forms hanging on chains spike through the walls. And then also, so you all have hacked through all these people, and there's when you killed that one and stabbed him in the groin, he fell over. There's this huge beastman behind him, probably 7 or 8 feet tall, and he roars, and he's got a torque, a giant big necklace that is adorned with human skulls, and some sort of rune in the center of the bottom of the torque, and with 8 points to it. And he has 2 giant axes covered in blood, and he rushes forward to attack you. But go ahead. What are we going to do with your other peasant?
and he attacks me or whom? My peasants, or we don't know.
He will, but you have the initiative, so you can act first.
Is
Okay,
he the
so-
last? Is he the last beast man standing? Essentially,
He is the last beast man standing. He doesn't seem like he's running.
got it.
Okay, so I guess like Halfling, just the Warley, he's the haberdash. He saw how all the other all other his friends like just just killing all those like monstrosity, and he like become very courageous. Like he's like feeling very confident like, and that some kind of like monster runs on him and he feel well I'm gonna just like kill him and like mince him in the meat, and he's just gonna run and try to sorry, with what kind of weapons he has? Sorry, yeah, he has scissors.
Scissors, great.
And he just running at him, and he's gonna do like his scissors. Yeah, so and it's D20 -1 because he has like only 7 strength.
All right, roll to hit.
He's gonna die for sure.
No, he's
Okay, he's gonna.
It
That's
hits.
16. Oh. Okay, so he hits him and probably in the leg or something, and then so it has it has -4. Yeah, it's okay. It's -4 already added, so it's 1d4. Yeah.
Mhm.
He does 2 damage to him.
2 damage. Yeah, you stab it in the leg. It roars at you, and disgusting smelling, rotten meat and spittle flies from its mouth into your face as that happens. Now it's
Yeah.
Glenn's turn. Wait, do you have more peasants?
I'm not. I'm done.
Okay. Glenn, what do
yeah.
your peasants do?
run up and try and help his halfling.
Okay.
Take down Beastmen. So I guess I'll just go in order here. We got Jeff, the Dyer. He misses with a 6.
All right.
Okay, we got Seth, the Gambler. He rolled an 8, which I'm assuming is also a miss.
Yep.
We got Steph, his twin brother, and also a gambler. He rolled a 12.
12 also misses. The these people aren't related, right? That's just what was popular that year.
Yeah, it was just popular that year. And then we got Beth, the herder, with 7, and he misses.
Did you say you got a 12 on one?
Yeah,
Okay, that does hit. I apologize. I was looking at the
Okay.
AC differently.
so then Steph then rolled damage. The club. And my d4 just fell away. Never mind, I got another d4. 3 damage.
You can describe your kill with the club with Seth or whoever it was that had the club.
It was Seth. I think he just runs up and says, "No, not with the scissors. You gotta do it like this." And then he just runs up and starts trying to bash the Beastman in the chest, carefully trying to avoid the torque in case some kind of
You
horrible man.
you cave in this beast man, and he falls over dead. And for a moment, it's silent apart from the muffled cries and the shaking of chains that you hear coming from the keep.
Did Bernardo the smuggler, was he dragged off scene, or was he like freed by all of the commotion?
He was dragged off scene by 2 of the beast people.
I thought as much. Delilah the astrologer she'll step forward and look down at the torque and sort of she'll use any knowledge she has about the stars and sort of that sort of thing to say, is there anything about this that makes her either, I'm assuming, uneasy, but at least some recognition or
Oh yeah, absolutely.
touch it, yeah.
It's a pretty common symbol and an obvious one. This is a holy or unholy, depending on your point of view, symbol of the lords and gods of chaos.
She'll share that knowledge. She doesn't keep it for herself. She's quite giving in that regard. And she'll say, and she'll embellish. She doesn't know this to be true, but she's like, I wouldn't touch it with your bare hands. If anybody has a rag or something like that, maybe pick it up using that.
The each of the skulls on the torque of the necklace is emblazoned with a separate symbol. When she looks at it, she notices that these symbols represent the individual gods of chaos themselves. And the necklace itself is made really, really well, and with precious metals. It would probably fetch 100 gold pieces at least, or more, depending on the buyer. And it would be a thing hated by the followers of law and loved and revered by the adherents of chaos.
Well, Charles, the tax collector, obviously is scribbling in a notepad about anything they've captured, because obviously we'll have to pay taxes on all of this. And so he's like sketching a picture of it. And but otherwise, Delilah is loath to touch it, but she also knows that it's likely something of great value.
My shaman, Noro, she's going to, because you mentioned one of the monsters was a clam squid clam.
Half.
She's gonna start digging through its entrails to see if there's any pearls.
Like two guys that aren't carrying one's carrying a club and one's carrying a dagger. Are there any weapons on any of these beastmen that they can pick up?
There are. They're very large. There are a couple that you could use are two-handed axes. Unless you have a proficiency or something under your birth sign, you would probably not have proficiency in it yet until you leveled up. But they act as two-handed axes. The other things would probably not be of use. They're improvised weapons acting as spears. Unless you don't have a weapon, and then you could probably carry them as a halberd at -1 damage. And then if you don't have proficiency in a halberd, it would be a step down the dice chain as well. And you find 2 of each of these that could be useful.
Okay.
To use them.
Yeah, I think they'll pick up a halberd each.
All right.
Alphonse the First will use his pitchfork to sort of snake the torque, the chain, basically, and lift it without touching it. And he's kind of like holding it, like, does anybody have a sack to put it in? Kind of maybe looking at the shaman or looking at the astrologer.
Does anybody have a sack?
I do.
One of my guys has a sack, yeah.
All right,
I
you're able
roll
to
out.
put the torque in the sack and tie it up.
He'll snake it in, making sure not to touch the hands of whoever's holding it.
You could climb down the wall. I would require a check, just of each of you. Or you could use a rope if you tie off a rope and keep it there. Alternately, the way up and down from this segment of wall on the front side of the castle is the tower, where you can hear a bunch of your people from your village like moaning and screaming and chains rattling.
So, like, that guy, Mark, he's a ditch digger who found the short sword. He, feels heroic, so he's gonna, do you hear those people there? They're screaming. Let's go save them.
Alphonse, who's holding his pitchfork, will say, I'm with you, let's go. And, he's inclined to charge into the, whatever might happen.
All right.
And I guess, my peasant's gonna go, to the tower.
You go into the tower and you find that there is a spiral stone stair that goes down, and the center is actually just open, and it's covered in chains that are hanging from the ceilings. And at various points, there are various people here that are hung up. And one of them is the smuggler, who is tied up and hung up here in chains.
Is he alive or dead?
He's alive. Let's see. Trying to see. There are about 6 of these people, 6 villagers here. And then also, the walls are covered and smeared in gore-covered furs. And there are just waves of fleas and lice and insects everywhere here, and it smells horrible. And at the bottom of the tower, apart from the exit down into the ground floor that's open to the night air, are piles of just gore and former remains of people, some beast creatures, and all of their belongings.
Jeez.
Charles, the tax collector, is a little cautious here. He's going to look at the villagers. Are any of them exhibiting any transformation? Are any of them turning into these beast creatures before he touches them or frees them? And in particular, he has great animosity towards the smuggler, and he's not inclined to free him.
Why?
Well, he doesn't pay taxes, obviously. He's not trustworthy. He's been shirking his tariff duties. So, yeah.
I don't know. Varday's gonna come to Smuggler and gonna start shaking him. Are you alive? Are you alive?
16. I need a 1d16 for this. And then
For the observation, essentially.
let's see here. And then one of the people you find has changed. It looks like on the other than their clothes, you can see where their skin is melting off of them, kind of like wax, and bubbling in places and flowing off the sides of their clothes, particularly around their torso. You can see it like pop and bubbles and come off in the flesh, melting like wax.
I rolled a 13 on that D16.
Oh no, I'm sorry, that was for me. I was rolling to see what
okay.
what happened to them.
Well, Charles the tax collector he's sort of, he's been holding his longsword sheathed. He has yet to draw it, and he'll kind of just poke that one like a little farther away. I'm assuming there's some kind of I don't know.
Yeah, what's your intention? Is it to try to get them down, except for the smuggler and the melty one?
Melty guy is a hard no about letting him go. He's more just trying to poke, turn them without. I'm assuming in some cases, their arms are bound. You can't see their faces, so he's trying to rotate them a little bit to see. Do we recognize all of them?
These are
people we know.
These are all people you know from the village. These are in fact villagers that have been taken here.
And then he'll, if the others are willing to help, they'll grab a foot and drag the person up onto the parapet and kind of unloosen them and whatnot. Whatever it's going to take to free the ones. But they're going to inspect each one before they unchain them, just to see if there are any other ill effects, and try to get them to talk in a normal voice, that kind of a thing. They don't want to free anybody that's in a transformer state.
You're certain that all of them are villagers. All of them seem, other than the fact that they're probably scarred for life and are never going to be the same again based on what they've seen.
Join the club. I mean,
they're all cogent and real and not mutated, except for the one that is mutating, who's screaming, please help me, please. And his you can see like bubbles popping in his flesh, just oozing off his chest, and you can see ribs starting to show.
Bernardo's the smuggler, but Charles the tax collector will draw his sword and run him through, put him out of his misery.
You do that, and he looks at you in shock, and then eventually dies.
Well, as he looks at him in shock, he says, "You're welcome."
Oh gosh!
My two halflings are gonna look. that was horrible. Do you think they're gonna all other people are not gonna change?
His debts are forgiven. Don't worry.
And Gorky, you can take a luck point for the heroic ditch digger, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Where should I put
I
it?
mean,
Like on...
well, you can pick a peasant for it to go on. You can pick whichever one. I don't care. And you just add that. You just cross through the luck score and add that 1 point to it.
Okay, so plus 1 luck to the ditch digger. He's very heroic. Yeah. I mean, hope it's not gonna be a death of him.
And that's to the big number, you know, as it'll
Yeah.
go up and down as you spend in the game. Okay.
So Aiden is going to like point at the beggar that came with and say, "You're used to dealing with this kind of filth. Go and look for something useful and or valuable down in that muck down there." And then Udran is going to go and start just digging around in
gonna
all the
see if he
gore
can
and
find
filth,
something.
see what he can find.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see here. Nice. Yeah, it's full of worms and maggots and fleas and lice and stuff, and gore, a bunch of rotten hides and rock grubs crawling through dead bodies, and let's see. And you find a small alcove set inside of the floor here as you pull some of this gore away. It looks like one of the stones is loose. Do you also...
He'll try and pry that up.
All right. All right. You pry it up and you find a bunch of coins. 53 silver pieces, 23 gold pieces, and 2 platinum pieces.
Oh
Man, we can retire now.
For these people, yeah, this is a retirement
That's like
fund.
a year's
And
year's wages for all of us combined.
you,
All right, we're done. Our job is done. We freed.
just leave
we
the
freed
village behind.
4 villagers and a wax man, and we're good.
You find a short sword that is beautifully ornate, engraved with filigree and intricate design work of a material that's, you're not even sure what it's made of. The hilt set with emeralds, and a
Udran the
simple.
squire grabs that.
It's wrapped in a simple green cloak that's still in good repair, and inside of it is wrapped up a piece of vellum that shows a map with a X marking some place on the map. And you also find 3 usable torches.
Finally, something useful. Good.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to talk? Otherwise, because I've just been writing this on my characters, but I think it's worth spreading the light around with the other players as well, since I've already got a lamp.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
I have a candle. Maybe somebody else like doesn't have a light at all. So
Yeah, the Charles the tax collector will take it. Delilah, the astrologer's like, no, nothing that will, prevent me from seeing the stars. I hate light. She's like, oh, knocked down with that.
You all each gain also a new level 0 peasant that you can use. This peasant, so this does not include the smuggler. This is +1 new peasant for each of you. The new peasant does not automatically benefit from after a funnel. Like, I'll give an automatic level 1 gain, and then if you find a bunch of stuff, I'll give more XP, and then that pool of XP you can distribute up to 1 level, which you won't be able to do. So you'll have to. No, I'll say you can do that. You can basically advance part of the way to level 2 and apply it. But anyways, so however much you do in the funnel that gives you XP, treasure, killing monsters, finding secrets, accomplishing goals, I'll give extra XP, and you can take that pool and then distribute it amongst all of your what remain. This peasant will not automatically go to level 1, but you can use XP to get them there if you want.
Gotcha. This one's so essentially more like a henchman-y kind of a lower.
However you want to use them, you
Okay.
can, but that's just to say, and that would happen if all of your peasants died right now. We would give you new peasants, but they don't then you'll have to use the XP to get them up. That to me is how you can. It makes it to where you can still progress in the game, but rewards getting more XP and doing stuff. So you can win DCC, I guess. I don't know. Anyways,
So we just need to roll up an extra character quickly.
sure, you can use Purple Sorcerer for that if you want.
I already just did that.
Great.
Oh,
While catching up here, because I didn't get an answer when my
Sorry
shaman
about
was
that.
searching for pearls.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, the pearl. So yeah, you crack open the clam man and cut through flappy portions of viscous membrane, and you do not find a pearl. You do
Okay.
find several large, very aggressive, hungry maggots that are probably this
Nice.
big that you're able to flick off of you. It just seems like an ant. Then another one will appear, and you're able to flick it off. They're very aggressive.
And then while that was going on, my other two peasants would be looking down the wall to see if Hubcap was still there, or if he got mauled by something.
Now I think he's just been chilling. You can eventually bring Hubcap up.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
Hey,
He's
just
not
so you
gonna follow
know,
up.
there is a mule down there. So if Hubcap wants to sit on top of it, it's the farmer's Alphonse, but he couldn't bring it up the wall. So up to you if you want to do something with the mule.
Could we haul the mule up?
You could, but it would take time.
Up to you if you want to have him on the mule, and he basically just lashed it to a vine.
You would also need at least 2 ropes.
Let me see. I know I've got one. The other one is a grappling hook. Doesn't say rope. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'll just wave goodbye to the mule, and we'll just haul Hubcap up.
All right. So you're up in this. Well, you've already identified it seems safe. At least you cut everybody down. They check this stuff. Does anyone want to do anything else on the battlement, on the wall, or in the tower? No.
I guess we should go down, isn't it? There's nothing else to search there.
All right.
I guess Vark with his candle gonna be first that's gonna go down because he's he feels like a Conan or something like that.
Yeah.
and he's gonna say, "Follow me."
Oh, I forgot to mention. How very interesting. I forgot to mention this. There is something here that at the bottom of the stairs. Let me put you in here for a second, and you can decide what you want to do with it. There is also a set of double doors on the other side of the tower. And then there's the open door that leads to the outside.
Did we see anything inside the courtyard from the top of the battlements before we came down?
Probably not, because you were probably a good 30 feet up in the air, and just using lantern light, I think it would have been hard to see. But on the near side of the courtyard, in the lantern light, you can see overgrown grass and what looks like the remains of a pathway that leads further into the courtyard. What do you do?
Well, let's see if we can open those doors. Maybe check them. Just first examine those doors.
All right, you take a look at the double doors. It looks like strange to me. Let me see. It's weird to me that the Let me see here. Well, anyways, it just looks like a set of double doors, except it has a, yeah, and it doesn't look like it's locked.
Well, I guess we try to open them and see what's inside. Just carefully, you know, like. But Wark, the ditch digger, you know, he's gonna like open them and see what's inside.
You open these two double doors and you see stairs that go down into the dark. You think you hear the trickling of water.
Well, and he's gonna. It seems there's some kind of stairs there.
That's going down underground or down to the ground level.
No, you were already on the ground level. Sorry. So yeah, when you go down the stairs, where the muck where your peasant was checking, everybody comes down on the bottom level, the ground level. You can see doors leading out into the courtyard, and then there's these two double doors. And when Gorky's peasant opened up the double doors, you can see stairs that descend underground, like subterranean.
So Aiden will say, I really don't want to leave anything behind us, so let's clear out this courtyard and the rest of the battlements before we head underground.
Right. Yeah. And the two halflings probably. Yeah. Let's see if maybe we can find something interesting.
Yeah. Now that Bernardo's free, he's like, kind of begrudgingly, he'll agree. But he's inclined to go where the action is, which it seems like it's down those stairs. But if you guys want to play it safe, that's fine, you know.
So is the plan to go out into the courtyard?
I agree with you. Like, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we should kill all those beastmen. And I guess, yeah, we're gonna go to the courtyard, see what's there. Maybe we can find something.
The courtyard is overgrown with sickly weeds and thick brambles. A deathly silence hangs in the night air, as if even the frogs and insects are afraid to draw attention to themselves. The smell of rotting vegetation is pervasive, and the ground sucks at your boots with every tentative step, as it seems that this is like gathered a muddy, mucky area. Nearly all of the courtyard's buildings have fallen into ruin, but a single burnt-out shell set against the keep's east wall is the only remaining structure. Over here. Oops. Over here. Set near the heart of the courtyard is a well framed with a crude pulley system, and to the east is the keep's sole standing tower. You also have a bunch of rubble on the north side of the courtyard that you can kind of see in the darkness, and then some big lip of some massive pit that you can see on the northeast side.
Is there anything near the well?
Other than the well itself, let me look here. Let's see here.
Like just like anything like rocks or anything I could like drop in there?
Oh yeah, is your intention to drop a stone in the well?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Enough for this sneaking around.
So you grab a rock and you go up and you toss it into the well, right?
Yeah, my woodcutter's gonna go up and just toss a rock down there.
All right. You go up and you toss a rock and then look, and it seems like the rock just goes smaller and smaller and never quite leaves your sight, as it feels as if the well just continues to expand and expand. And then suddenly you find yourself like tipping over, like drawn into the well as you peer into its depths. Make a will save.
Can anybody help, or does this not appear physical? Do we see him pitching forward physically, or he's just...
One of you can attempt a reflex save to help, but first of all, let's do a will save with Ken.
Okay, give me 1 second here. And is this a D20?
Yeah, D20 plus your will save modifier, mod. Actually, I'll describe this. It says that as you dare to peer into the depths, you see a yawning darkness. Your depth perception and spatial reality serve you no good now, as you look into the well and it all seems to fall away.
Jesus, I think he's gone into the well.
Yeah, he's left this plane. He rolled a 6.
All right, 6. Ted, since you offered, why don't you roll a reflex save?
Just a straight one, no pluses or anything.
It's a D20 plus your reflex save mod.
Hey there.
You so who is it? Who's your character that looked down into it? I'll put you.
My woodcutter Angus.
Angus, suddenly you hear Angus's screams as he plummets into never-ending darkness. But you never seem to strike bottom. Instead, you feel the ceaseless winds of some foul magic begin to buffet you, and as you look around, you can see that you're subsumed with souls of the damned that swirl around you in the dark. Never completely seeing the tiny, tiny light off in the distance of what was once life and any chance of having a soul ever again. You can roll a... You could still try to make it out. You can roll a D16 plus 5 plus your personality bonus.
Oh, God. Okay. 1 second here.
You all can hear him screaming. It is possible to get him out.
So, D16 plus 5 personality?
Yeah.
So 15.
Oh no. Do that two
Do it.
more. Wait,
I was
actually,
like, go ahead. Sorry.
no. Go ahead.
I was like, do I at least get last words?
Well, I think what happens is you start to black out and lose your mind as like eons pass, as you're stuck forever in this yawning chasm, as souls like buffet around you of the damned, and you. It maybe is 100 years, maybe 1,000 years. You don't know anymore. That you just see the pinprick of light that teases the possibility that you could have been just a person that died in the ground instead of this torment. And you start to speak, and you go, "Ah!" And then like a snake's tongue forks out and folds out of your mouth and starts whipping around, and you're like, "Oh!" as you start to transform into something other than what you are, as you begin to black out.
He just yells out, "This is my punishment for all those trees I killed."
And eventually you black out as you endlessly morph into something that is no longer a person.
All right.
And you all stop hearing screaming.
It's nice knowing you, Woodcutter.
Yeah, and we're gonna, and they know two halflings are gonna. Among, we should go near the well. No, we shouldn't.
What's next?
Maybe we could search like a rubble or something like that. Maybe we can
Did
find.
you say it was a burnt out building as well?
Yeah, to the east, you can see what is a burned up building. It's the last remaining kind of structure around the courtyard. There's rubble, and I actually will describe that. It looks like when you look at the rubble, you can see the massive wall of the keep on the northwest side that's collapsed, and there are these huge cyclopean stone blocks, and they're precariously balanced upon one another as if some titan were playing a game of dice. And you can see some lip of some huge chasm to the northeast that falls off. And it looks to the southwest as if that were the main entrance into the keep. So that's kind of what you see when you look around. And then you have the way you came in.
Okay. Well, Aidan is going to send a lackey over this to have a look in the door.
All right, I'm going to pull you back, Ken, since you said no one else went to the well, right? All right.
Yeah,
you,
no, it was just my woodcutter.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. Let me see here. You see a big heavy door. And yeah, a big heavy double door. And you think you hear noise inside, but it's not like the Beastmen. It's just a strange sound. They're bronze heavy doors, cast with hundreds of wailing demonic faces. It's barred with a big double set of big heavy wooden bars that have been erected here. And it's marked in flaking red paint over the top of the bronze, repent.
Well, Bernardo doesn't like that repent talk, but he does know that usually riches and glory and fame are on the other sides of doors like that. So if someone wants to give me a hand, and he'll walk up to the I assume the piece of wood that's barring it, and he'll start to try to, basically with the heels of his hands, sort of jam it up so that it pops loose. He looks over his shoulder to see if anyone's going to help.
Yeah,
My
I
sh-
guess Vark is gonna come and help you. Right.
My shaman Noro, she wants to check. She wants to examine the screaming faces and everything on the door. She's intrigued by the mystical possibilities.
As you approach the building, you can see in the lantern light this building. It rises up a good 40 feet up above you, and there are these the stone walls are fire scarred, and on the corners of them are toad-faced gargoyles that leer at you. The demon faces are not really quite possible to make out from the knowledge that you have, although they are clearly something of chaos. And as far as the smuggler, it's not hard for you to lift the bars off the door. If you take the time to do it and other people help, you're able to lift the bars up and you could open the door. I'll actually unlock it for you. Oop, and now you can open it if you want.
Oh, yeah.
Never a question. Well,
Yeah, we came to the right place. Yeah.
absolutely. Bernardo is like, there must be something good here. And he...
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
Somebody will have to.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
anyways,
now we're all like on pins and needles. Like,
sorry.
I'm not sure.
So when you open the doors, you see six charred skeletons that are lying about a chapel, some crushed by burnt fallen beams. At the head of the chapel is a fountain depicting a squat demonic toad. A foul black ichor seeps from the toad's broad lips, slowly and gently pulling in the basin that is seated at the foot of the fountain. Even though you can only imagine this must have taken place a long time ago, the stench of charred flesh still lingers in the air and the sour scent of freshly burnt incense. And you can even hear the echoes of what sounds like maybe voices. And that is where we will end today.